Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and yes, it's that time already. We come into this weekend, we come into this match preview on the back of the highest of highs, and dare I say the happiest we've been all season long. We are truly on an escalator of happiness and joy right now, but it's now time to turn our attentions to the big one. And dinna worry, wee Ridvan, unlike the one at Blackpool, you're allowed on this one as we turn our attentions away from what was a phenomenal European Thursday. And there could be an argument made that was a cup final of sorts versus Real Betis, with what was lying ahead of us and what could have came if we lost the game first or third, you could argue, or make a comparison to say that was a cup final. But now it's time to turn our attentions to the real thing, as what lies ahead of us now, less than 24 hours away, is a true cup final. And will Rangers turn up again? And you know, I can't help but feel that that little sentence, that little line is the thing that we're all thinking about right now, and it's dominating our mind. It's certainly dominating this grey noggin right here, is will we see our team once again? Because that's what I got for that game versus Real Betis. I recognise my Rangers team again, the team that I love and breathe, and I seen a team give absolutely everything. I've not seen it for a long time, but I saw it the day the mirror was well and truly cleaned, and I could see the reflection coming straight back at me. Because I'll be honest, I slept like this the other night. I looked like Jack Nicholson in the original Batman trips. It just wouldn't go away. But now we start to turn our attention, and now we start to look into a game, and especially an opponent that I haven't recognised this team at all. And I feel like today's video is going to be more of a conversation piece. We're going to be looking at the game and obviously talking about Aberdeen as well, but looking at it from a Rangers fan perspective and just making it a little bit different. Because I just sat here, there's no notes or anything like that. I'm just sitting here looking at the camera. I want to talk to you about what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling, and what I need to see in tomorrow's game. So come ahead, join in, strap yourselves in, and get involved down in the comment section below, because again, I'm genuinely interested to see how you're also feeling now that we're about 24 hours away from a cup final. And hell, if you do find yourself enjoying this video or channel at any time, please get a hit in that like button. It definitely helps the channel out, and honestly, it's just buzzing to see so many people enjoying the channel. It's been a wee while now. We're at almost, I think we're one day away for 10 weeks. This will be the last video before it's been 10 weeks getting 1,000 likes a video, and the support's been absolutely sensational. So thank you all for coming on this journey with me and showing you're enjoying the content. But let's go ahead and talk about the game then, shall we? Aberdeen versus Rangers, a true cup final. And as I said about 30 seconds ago, it's just going to be a conversation piece. I've not got any plot points, I've not got anything gone, and this is usually the point maybe I dive into an oppositional preview and we start breaking down how they're playing, how the opposition's looking, and how they're getting on coming into this game versus Rangers. And I mean, absolute no disrespect, I love doing those, but for this game right here, for this cup final, I feel like that's a complete irrelevance to do that, and I'd be wasting your time, and I never want to take your time for granted. But what is the point of me sitting here and breaking down Aberdeen's horrendous league form? You know what I mean? Them sitting in 9th place, having only 16 points in total from 15 games actually played. There's no point in really diving in the meat and tatties of that, because 4 of the 16 points that they've gained all season long has came for us. Their most prolific team to play against has been us right here, so there's no point in looking at it, you know what I mean? Those allegations that Aberdeen only turn up against Rangers aren't going away anytime soon. And if you look, the facts, truly didn't care about anyone's feelings. And there's a real argument to be had that this Aberdeen side has been preparing for this cup final versus Rangers for the last decade in terms of every single league match, because that's what we've heard, that's what we've seen about it. They treat it like a cup final, they treat it like a cup final. Well, now it is right there. It's now finally a cup final for both sides. Which Rangers team will actually turn up? Will we turn up and meet them in the halfway line and match them both physically and mentally? Because I'll tell you, that is the two things we haven't done in the last couple games versus Aberdeen, and that's why we've had such poor and iffy results, and our record against them over the last 2 games have been pretty pathetic, and I've not enjoyed any of it. And now there is no excuses, right? Because we now get to a cup final. I hate that excuse anyway, and I've voiced my opinion on this before. Aberdeen treat it like a cup final, CJ. Ha ha ha, look, they care so much, they're celebrating this. We need to start doing that. If we want to be a successful team, we need those mentality monsters that go into every single game like they're a cup final, and they'll never ever going to a game in Scottish football against a team that wants it more. Then I've voiced my opinion on that before, but even if you want to take that into consideration, that they're always right up here and we never are, mentally, this is a cup final. There's no more excuses, there's no more time, there's no more options for these players to not only fight for their futures but save their Rangers legacy. And that's where I feel like a lot of conversation needs to be had, because not only has Phil come in here and we've seen what he's all about, we know what he's all about, he's given everybody an opportunity, but if you lose that trust, you're gone. There are players in this team who has failed us and has shrunk and has not reached the mentality and not had the balls to win, as Phil has said many times, or said in his most recent press conference, will be moved on. Their Rangers careers have never been in such jeopardy, especially since the new director of football's come in and he's getting rid of the scouts who's brought half the players in to this club. So for me, there's a hell of a lot more to this game than just the first trophy available, which by the way should be enough if you play for Rangers. An opportunity to lift some silverware should get you going, but for me there's a lot of players who's on borrowed time and they need a big performance again to save their legacies, and not only that but to save their Rangers futures. And there's a couple players with contracts running out who's looking to make an impact and show they deserve to be here and they can be a part of a successful Rangers team. And you know how you do that, troops? It's no winning the odd game here or there or having a good European night. It's turning up in cup finals and lifting silverware. That is what separated us as a football club since we were formed, and it's not been respected and upheld over the last, I don't know, 10, 12 years. Well, now it's time to get back and do what we do best, and that's what's ahead of us coming in versus Aberdeen. And I mean, absolutely no disrespect to the Aberdeen side right here. I know I always do my jokes and I have my wee fun. I'm having a real conversation with you right now. If they do not go ahead and lift the trophy, this has to be considered a catastrophic failure on these players and everything like that. There is no excuses or nothing that can be said, no European garbage that can be used if we go into this game and we do not beat this Aberdeen side. Now, am I saying that from a place of arrogance or overconfidence? No, I'm not. Trust me, I'm no overconfident, and that there in itself is a credit to this Aberdeen side, because if you put both teams' resources on the table, you put both teams on paper right there, you should look at this and feel utterly overconfident and looking at this game licking your chops thinking a 3 or 4. You really should when you do it that way, but we're no doing that because we know what this Aberdeen side is capable of when they are switched on. And we know what this Rangers team is also capable of when they aren't switched on. Both two good sides, both have goal scorers in their side. For me, Majowski's always a danger, Duke's a danger, I think Shinnie's a good player. There's good players in this Aberdeen side, and to sit and look and call them garbage would just be bias and nonsense. But as a collective unit, with what we've got available, we should have enough to go ahead and do this. And for me, again, the only thing I'm underlining right now is there is no excuses why we should not go ahead and do this, despite, again, Aberdeen having the best attack for me outside of the Old Firm, and couple genuine game changers. I mean, just look at their last European result. We're on the high. Now, granted, Frankfurt did rotate, blah, blah, blah. I know what you're going to say, but to beat Frankfurt 2-0 at home is a great result for Aberdeen. So they'll be feeling good about themselves. The only thing I can hope is they finally had that one punch. You know what I mean? They're kind of like Deontay Wilder. They've got that one punch that they normally save for Rangers every couple of months. Well, they might have used it versus Frankfurt, and it'd be absolutely sensational if they come into this game a little bit punch drunk and get slapped up. That'd be lovely. And genuinely, Santa, if you're listening, that's all I want. And speaking of what I want for Christmas, it is certainly more Dujon Sterling. And I feel like that's going to transition into a couple of the players' conversation in this one, because we know what we're missing, we know what's there and everything like that, right? Cantwell will hopefully be back and available for the game again. If you scroll down, I'll update you down in the comment section below when that decision is actually made. Again, he missed the last game due to a family emergency, so hopefully everything is okay with the laddie, whatever that emergency actually is. He would be a big boost and a potential game changer, but game changer leads me to the man that I just mentioned a minute ago. Sterling. And, you know, it's funny because we all thought he was going to be this. We all thought he was going to be here. We all thought he could maybe play right here. But it just shows you can never count your laurels and plan or prepare anything, because where this Sterling has been given an opportunity to play for Rangers and potentially start a cup final is in the middle of the park, a job that he has done very little before ever in his career. In fact, the only times he's ever played there was pretty much for us over the last game and a half. And yes, he's definitely impressed. For me, one of the main reasons we managed to run out and win that game was his defensive instincts, but more importantly, his physicality. And I think if you watched the game, you had Lundstrom there and you had Sterling there, and they did not want that physical battle, because every single time Lunny was coming in, Dujo coming in, and that there intimidates teams. And it's been a long time since we've actually had that. And I watched the laddie. You can bring Bassey comparisons in terms of his physical assets and how he can play anywhere and really dominate 1v1s in that situation. But we're looking at a cup final right here, and something you could argue that we have lacked, despite what I think is the mentality issues going in to the games versus Aberdeen, not matching them up here. But something else we have lacked is real physicality in the middle of the park. We've just no had bite. We've just no had anything else. It's Lunny or bust, because we can't get Jacko in the park enough, and Lunny can only do so much. We've seen him in games this season being a one-man midfield. Well, now we have that right next to him, and I know it's not the sexiest and it's not the most attacking option, but I would love to see Lunny partner Sterling to start the game versus tomorrow, because that there shuts down and that there adds some bite and will show and match the physicality that's always there whenever you play Aberdeen. Because a lot has been made about Dessers saving his Rangers career, and that's something I've been backing and I've been screaming for the hilltops over the last little while, and we will get to there in a minute. But this also could really throw Sterling in to the deep end and make him become a Rangers player in a different position. The Rickson move, if you want, from a fullback to the middle of the park. And if he's half as good as Rickson was when he moved into the middle of the park, we would be certainly in for a very, very good couple of years. But again, he's got that bite, he's got that aggression, and I think we're going to need that in the middle of the park, because we can sit here and pretend it's going to be a showcase of football tomorrow, but if we're honest, finals never are good games to actually watch. Like, genuinely, how many good cup finals can you name down in the comment section below that wasn't nervy, that wasn't scary, and was filled with periods of the game where both teams were trying to make sure they never lost it or beat themselves, right? Everyone's done the hard work, everyone's done the blowing, the attack, piling forward, scoring. Now it's cup final time. Cup final games are always nervy occasions, teams trying to no lose the game, and it comes to one or two incidences. And for me, they try and limit what Aberdeen has, and that is a very good attack in a midfield that does like to go forward on occasion. You drop Sterling in there and you say, lad, I know you've not played there that much, but just stick to your defensive instincts and help what is, again, a pure defensive Rangers side. But I think you know the next player I'm going to talk about, and that's going to be none other than Big Dessers, who again, I've just been so happy because I've been getting cooked every week. Twitter, social media, Instagram, your videos, you're clipping me here, there and everywhere to mock fun of me and tell me I'm talking nonsense about Dessers. And look, I'm not sitting here saying I'm Nostradamus and I've got it right or anything like that, but all I can say, it was a step in the right direction, and the laddie I have got a lot of respect for, because let's remember something as well. He looked dead and buried the last time Aberdeen. His career looked over, right? We had Danilo there, everything like that. Danilo was playing well. This man didn't even come off the bench when we were drawing 1-1. Not even a single minute. We had no faith in this laddie to change a game at all. He sat on the bench like that and wasn't needed. And then a couple of days later versus Limassol at home, needing a result, we still never looked to the laddie because the guys ahead of him were better than him. This lad knew that he's been thrust back into the spotlight and back in to the pressure cooker where everyone's groaning and everyone's moaning and everyone's nervous when he touches the ball. He could have easily sold the jerseys, and we've all seen players do it and just go through the motions and no give absolutely everything. But I've got a lot of respect for the likes of Dessers, that the fact that he's came in and he's given everything. Again, his Rangers career looked over. It looked like he wasn't needed. You'd have been told he was not needed when you look at the back-to-back non-substitutes on when we needed to win games of football. 2 must-win games. The big striker never got near it. Now we're going into a cup final, and where's our hopes? Where's our dreams? it's on the backs and on the shoulders of Big Dessers. So I respect to the guy's mentality and really hope he's able to show his quality that he's clearly got if he can continue to build up his confidence, because we need another goal. And if you want to be big game Des, you can go ahead and do that. If you didn't want to score every week and you do this and do that, that's fine. You've scored in one big game versus Real Betis. Go ahead and do it and not only save your Rangers career, but write your name in to the folklore is, again, which I hope I'm putting in the title tomorrow, Big Game Des. Truthfully, that's all I've really got to add. There's no much more I can really break down regarding Aberdeen and Rangers. I think you're seeing the likes of the Balogun come back into the starting 11, which again will add physicality and add threat. We're going to need that, and I would love Sterling to partner John Lundstrom, who for me has been driving this Rangers machine and driving Big Clement's Belgian Bears, whatever you want to call him, and all the praise we're giving Clement. Let's praise the general on the park that's coaching and managing the entire game. That is Lunny. So hopefully we're all celebrating and all very, very happy tomorrow. But that's all I've got to talk about. That's all I wanted to say. It's big mentality. There's legacies. There's new contracts on the table. Is this Rangers team going to turn up and treat this game, the game that matters the most to us this week, the same way that they turned up and fought against all odds versus a fantastic Real Betis side? That is all I've got to ask, and that is all I can hope. And as always, I will see you tomorrow after the game. If you're talking about predictions, I'm clearly going to predict my team to win the game, and it's almost one of these ones. I feel like if we score first, I think it could be a more of a comfortable afternoon, maybe a 2-0 in that aspect, maybe even possibly a 3 if if we score first. But if Aberdeen score first, which was probably most likely considering us in big games, especially games versus Aberdeen, it could be nippy bum time. But we showed the mentality versus Betis, getting pegged back twice to two silly mistakes. Can we show it again when it matters? This is the time, you know what I mean? If you're a Rangers player, if you want to be a Rangers player, it's tomorrow, and I can't wait to see how they actually perform. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the comment section below. And I'm going for Big Game Dessers and possibly Roof on the score sheet once again. And till tomorrow after the game, which I hope and I pray is a successful one. I've been CJ92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and goodbye.